Nearly 4 million American adults are diagnosed with fibromyalgia. No one knows the cause, and treatments that we have right now are mainly palliative, meaning these treatments are only treating the symptoms of fibromyalgia. So we have treatments that are aimed at helping patients deal with the pain, and that's usually pharmaceuticals. And we have treatments that are help patients deal with helping them sleep, which is a component of fibromyalgia. And these medications, they may be helpful, but like I said, they are just a temporary fix, and oftentimes they have side effects. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I think is a major contributor to fibromyalgia and the type of treatment that I generally give to my patients, which has shown the best effect in helping to get to the root of this disease. Enjoy. In my clinical experience, the most effective natural treatment for fibromyalgia starts with making dietary changes aimed at improving the health of the gut and improving the health of the gut microbiome. But why is this so effective? Your immune system, your nervous system, and your endocrine system, which is the hormones, are all tied together by one common thing, and that is they are all tied together with the gut microbiome, with all of the organisms that live inside of your gut. They have an influence on what your cells produce. So some bacteria and yeast cells will influence your cells to produce certain hormones and certain inflammatory things that stimulate the immune system and modulate the immune system. And within the past few years, research has showed that some, or actually many, gut microorganisms, bacteria and yeast, actually produce human hormones. Do you understand the magnitude of this discovery? At one point not too long ago, doctors would think that, this patient is having an elevated reaction to pain, or this patient is having depression, anxiety, because there is some sort of chemical imbalance in their brain. Well, we know now that most of these neurotransmitters and hormones are produced actually in the gut, and they are heavily influenced or actually produced by these microorganisms. So if there is an imbalance of species of microbes in the gut, then you may be producing too much of one neurotransmitter over another. The same thing goes for if you are having too much stimulation to your immune system from certain species of microbes in your gut that may be unfavorable. My hypothesis for the major contributor or the cause of fibromyalgia breaks down into 3 parts. So number 1, you may be experiencing a degradation of the protective lining of your digestive tract. The single layer of cells that is responsible for exchanging things from the inside of your digestive tract into the bloodstream is protected by a thin layer of mucus called mucin. And within this layer of mucin are secretory IgA, which are components of your immune system to detect bad things. And this protective layer does what it is called. It protects the cells, because normally things that are in the digestive tract should not come into direct contact with those cells that line your gut. They have to be processed through this layer of mucin. So if you have areas of the gut where that layer of mucin is degraded, is worn away, and there are various chemicals in the environment that could do this, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But if that layer is compromised, and considering you have many feet, like 20-something feet of small intestine, there could be many areas along that way where some of that layer is degraded, and all it takes is something to come in direct contact with those cells, and then you get an inflammatory reaction. If that goes on for too long, then you end up getting the cells being replaced too rapidly. And whenever a cell gets replaced, it gets pushed out, and basically the cell dies, your own cell dies, it gets pushed out, a gap is left. So this is what we're referring to when we refer to leaky gut. A gap is left, and then even larger molecules could come into contact and even get into the bloodstream, causing an even worse inflammatory reaction. So that's number 2, you're getting leaky gut. And then number 3 is that there are specific endotoxins, things called lipopolysaccharides, which are produced by certain types of gram-negative bacteria, which if those get into the bloodstream, those are known to cause, in many cases, a severe immune reaction. In fact, this is heavily studied based on the fact that LPS getting into the bloodstream could cause septic shock. The combination of having a compromised mucin layer and having the wrong, frankly, the wrong species of microorganisms present in too high of quantities is like a double whammy, because if you're having this chronic immune reaction, then you're going to be having inflammation that is systemic all around the body. And if you have the imbalance of microbes, maybe you're having too much production of one neurotransmitter over the other. So you got pain caused by inflammation from the immune system, and then you have your perception of pain is amplified because the neurotransmitters in your body are off. Let's talk about how to fix this. So step 1 is you have to remove the obstacle to cure. This is like a naturopathic principle. We want to remove what is preventing you from getting better. And in this case, it is all of the chemicals that we're exposed to in our diets. Now, there are like 10,000 different chemicals that they're allowed to put in the food supply, and a lot of them have not been studied for long-term safety in humans. So we just don't know what are the bad things. There are some things that have been studied we know of, but all of the chemicals that are in our food, we just don't know. To be on the safe side and to be as natural as possible, part of my plan to help people feel better from this is to avoid all those chemicals. You're not missing out if you're avoiding natural flavors, and you're not missing out if you're avoiding polysorbate 80 or carrageenan, because you can get all of your nutrients the way human beings have gotten their nutrients for all of time, by eating whole foods. So you want to eat a whole food diet, meaning that you're not eating things that have chemicals added or foods that are too highly processed. The whole point of avoiding these food additives and these chemicals is to basically not kill certain species of microbes in your gut. We want you to have a diversity of species of organisms, and if you're taking some type of an emulsifier that's in your food or something like that, it may be affecting just certain species of microbes, which lowers your diversity and throws off the balance of production of neurotransmitters and things like that. Another huge potential disruptor of the gut microbiome is pesticides, and specifically the pesticide glyphosate, which is the one that is mainly used. Glyphosate is actually an antibiotic, and its purpose and how it is effective at killing weeds and insects is that it basically destroys the microbiome of the insects and the weeds. So you can imagine if you are eating foods that have residues of glyphosate on them, that some of those residues could potentially be harming your gut microbiome, limiting your microbiome diversity. With that said, you want to make sure that most of your food, if it is affordable and available, that it is organic, because organic food is not allowed to be sprayed with pesticides. In addition to the dietary changes, there are some dietary supplements which are known to be helpful. So one of the treatments that conventional medicine usually gives to patients for fibromyalgia are muscle relaxers, pharmaceutical muscle relaxers. Well, the best natural muscle relaxer is magnesium. By taking magnesium, you may suffer less of the side effects of the pharmaceutical muscle relaxers, but still get some of the benefit and have less cramping and muscle tension with the magnesium. Another one is a good probiotic. I made another video on this particular probiotic. I'll put the link down in the description for you. But this probiotic or any other good probiotic is gonna help to foster a good gut microbiome growth. Another dietary supplement is this one right here, which has several different things in it that help to protect the gut lining. This product actually has mucin in it, and it has some other herbs in there that kind of coat the lining of the gut while you are healing up. So ideally you would make the dietary changes, and then you would take this product, and this would help to soothe your gut, let it heal up. You'd take it for about a month, and then you would start to add in the probiotic that I just showed. And all along you could take the magnesium if you are having the muscle pains, if they're just too intense. If you're into natural health and you like feeling great, and more specifically you're into the gut microbiome, make sure you check out some of these other videos and subscribe to my channel, because this is my main area of focus is the gut microbiome. So I have a ton of videos, and I will be making more and more, especially as I read more and more of the new research.